Hey guys, Thor Sandalwood here, Vedic astrologer. And today we are going to talk about like the hottest cryptocurrency in the news as of May 8th, 2021, and that's Dogecoin. This one is just like getting so much media attention, headlines, and I guess people are becoming just many people being made millionaires off of Dogecoin right now. So it's pretty crazy. And then Elon Musk has been the face of this. And ironically, I guess Elon Musk today is going to be hosting Saturday Night Live, which is coincidental. I think I was just watching it in the news and I decided that we were going to do Dogecoin today. And so I did the research and I went to blockchair.com and I was able to find the ledger history of Dogecoin. And we have a birth time, so I was able to generate a chart. And hi everybody in the chat, 567890. How you doing? And I have a question in the chat already. Will I look in the Voyager token soon? Yes, I'll look in the Voyager token as long as I have a birth time. I'll probably actually do that on Monday because I'm going to take tomorrow off because of Mother's Day. But anyways, guys, let's get started on this presentation. I'm really excited. I mean, the cryptocurrencies have got me so excited. I spent $100 on Ethereum, guys, and then I bought $75 of Litecoin. Remember, I made a few prediction videos back, and literally, it's almost like I've made, and it was, just $175, and it's already like I've already made $100. Like it's almost like I just doubled my money. This stuff is going crazy. It's going to the moon, guys. Let's take a look at my disclaimer before we get started. My disclaimer: this is not meant to be advice from, not meant to replace advice from a qualified financial planner. I use the sidereal zodiac. That's what we use in Vedic astrology. That's the astrology of ancient India. And predictions are mine alone, guys. And the video is for entertainment only. So you gotta take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. Astrology is a model of reality. It isn't perfect. It doesn't predict every little thing in your life. It doesn't predict if you're walking down the street and you get bit by a dog. I don't think there's an astrologer out there that will be able to see that. But, in a general karma, when we're looking at karma and seeing how things unfold, it's really good and it works really good in somebody's life. Let's take a look at the next slide, guys. And if you're new to this, first off, if you guys are new to this, because I'm expecting to get, a lot of new viewers because there's probably a lot of people wondering, what kind of predictions people have about Dogecoin. Well, I'm an astrologer. As I said, I use the ancient astrology of India, which is called Vedic astrology. And this is known as the science of light. Astrological chart is a blueprint of your karma. The planets and stars are the keepers of the Akashic records. They are the radio transmitters of your karma. Everything has karma: a person, a country, a corporation, financial systems, and so on. So it's always important, to just realize this whole reality, this whole simulation we're living in is based on karma. And next thing, guys, like and subscribe my channel if this is the first time you're coming across. My goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers. And my goal is really to spread the ancient knowledge, and show the modern applications of it. And if you're interested in your own reading, check out my website, thorsandalwood.com. 20% off of a reading if you use codename Thor. Of course, guys, I got to make a living doing this so that the channel can get supported. Because otherwise, I do this for free. I don't even have advertising and the Google AdSense yet. So, guys, let's get into the presentation here. And I wanted to show you guys something that Elon Musk said. And it kind of cracked me up. Elon Musk, the Doge father. And I took a tweet from him. It says, this is the whole to the moon concept. And for you guys wondering, just like as a heads up, yeah, I really do see. We're first gonna analyze the chart a little bit. We're gonna just look at what I see in a quick way. We're gonna go through the chart, And then we're going to go into the predictions. But right off the bat, I can tell you guys that Dogecoin is going to do really good for 2021. So I think there's a lot of money to be made this year with it. Now, the last part of the year, and I think this is going to affect not just Dogecoin, but like almost all cryptocurrencies. I am seeing and forecasting some sort of event, and I don't know what's going to be the pin that pops the bubble, but I do expect some sort of asset bubble deflation. A lot of cryptocurrencies, a lot of them will recover from it. I'm really big into Ethereum, and I believe that will recover, and so I believe you can hold it onto it. But some cryptocurrencies, they might not survive when there's a big correction that takes place, and I think we all know that on a big level. But Dogecoin I see being really good for this year. So if you guys want to make a bunch of money, I would say, this year looks really good, especially this summer. So let's go to the Dogecoin chart, guys. So I found out that it was December 6, 2013, and I found the date on blockchair.com. And 10:25 UTC, Portland, Oregon, USA. And I forget the name of the guy who developed it, but he worked for IBM and he lived in Portland, Oregon. So we're using Portland, Oregon as the birthplace. And it's a Virgo ascendant, ruler Mercury. Let's go ahead and we're going to just take a look at the chart, guys. And obviously, guys, with Vedic astrology, the chart is a little different. Like you guys see the zodiac behind me, that's typically with Western astrology. But with Vedic astrology, there are these square charts that I'm going to show you. But you know what? Once you start doing Vedic astrology, to me, the chart is actually way more simple after you get used to it. It's like really simple. So there's the chart for Dogecoin. And right away, guys, we're going to just go over real quick some things we can pick apart just out of the, when we look at the chart. Is, right away you guys can see Mars is in the first house. And Mars is the third lord. If you look, Mars is the third lord in the first house. So that's why I think, and then you see also these planets. You see Mercury. Mercury, it's a Virgo ascendant, if I didn't mention that. But you also see that Mercury is there. The sun is in the third house. And then the third lord's in the first house. So with this whole third house thing going on, that's why, and it's in a Mercury period at the moment. This whole third house thing going on, that's why Dogecoin has been getting so big. And really because third house represents mass media communications. It represents Elon Musk going on Twitter and promoting it. So a lot of its success, it isn't like people like sitting there researching Dogecoin. It's just that it's this mass media publication that put Dogecoin out into the mass consciousness. That's people become aware of it and people buy it. And then it's really inexpensive to buy Dogecoin. I think it's like today it was 67 cents. So it's not like you have to spend a fortune like you do with Bitcoin to get a Dogecoin. So let's go back to the presentation real quick, guys. So Mercury, which is Virgo's lord, is located in third house, publications, media messaging, communications, self-earned wealth. Mass publication on Twitter, Elon Musk has aided in Dogecoin's stratospheric rise. And let's go to the next slide real quick. Sometimes, I do these kind of readings kind of like, a few hours before I'm preparing, and sometimes I'll forget like all the little bullet points that I put in these readings. But if you look at the chart here, you'll see, when you see Mars in the first house, this is like pretty powerful. Like if this was a person's chart, I would tell them, seems like you're a very ambitious type of person. Like, for example, for good or bad, Donald Trump has Mars in the first house, and we all know that he comes off to a lot of people as very abrasive of a person. But Dogecoin's a cryptocurrency, so it's not something that we should be overly concerned about with that. The money houses in Dogecoin's chart are like going off the hook, though. So we're going to look at the money houses, and you'll probably be quite impressed. Let me clean up the chart for a second. So I'm going to take this kind of opportunity to share with you guys, and you guys can check this in your own charts, not just, Dogecoin, but you can even look in your own charts. When you're thinking about money, you always want to think about the second house, the 11th house, and then if you have interaction with like the 5th house and the 9th house, those form like special dana yogas, which can create wealth in your life. So let's take a look at the wealth houses. And so, guys, whether this be a corporation's chart or your own personal chart, if you were to ask me about, personal finance, I would always say, okay, well, let's look at your second house first. And then we would also look at your 11th house. Like, those would be the first things we would look at. There's other things we would look at. I mean, we would look at the planet Venus over here. And then we would be checking the trine houses, like the 5th house here. We would be checking out the 9th house. So we would be checking all those houses to see how your wealth would be. What kind of periods would be the best periods for you. And obviously right here, guys, you see Rahu there in the second house of Libra there. And Rahu, guys, is the north node of the moon. And Ketu is the south node of the moon. So Rahu shows our karmic desires, our obsessions in life. And it expands whatever house or whatever planets that it comes into contact with. It tends to exaggerate and expand those planets. So let's take a look. So if Rahu's in the second house, now Rahu's considered a malefic planet, but it's considered like really good for expanding the wealth associated with the second house. So if you had Rahu there, I'd be thinking, this is really good. The downside of this whole thing is Saturn being in the second house. Saturn can tend to actually block wealth. But in Dogecoin's case, and I'll show you, I think that it's been corrected in the chart. Also, guys, just so you know, Saturn aspects the 3rd house from itself, 7th house from itself, and then also 10 houses from itself. So those are the houses that in Vedic astrology that Saturn aspects. So you also see that Saturn aspect to the 11th house of earnings, which could reduce a little bit of Dogecoin's potential. But I'm going to show you guys what I believe is why Dogecoin is so successful despite having Saturn in the second house. First of all, it's got Rahu in the second house, which assists in trying to make that earned income. The second house is like savings. So think of the two ways that you hold on to money in life. You could have a really, really strong 11th house where that's where you get a high salary or you earn a lot of money. And if your second house was really bad, that's how you save money. That's why you can hear about people, they have high incomes, but they can never hold on to money. It just slips through their fingers. It's because they have a damaged second house. So second house, that's important because it's how we save the money. Let's go back to the chart really quick. I'm going to clean this up really quick for you guys. So what I was also going to tell you guys was the planets here in the 3rd house. If you were looking at your own chart, these are good for self-earned wealth. So second house is how you save money. 11th house is going to be your earned money. But then the 3rd house would be like if you started your own business and made your own money. You're not going and working for somebody, but you start a small business and you start making money that way. So if you have, even if you had not so great of a second house or 11th house, but you have a really killer, awesome 3rd house, then that would be a great avenue for you to have money. You never see a chart that's completely just like blocked out. There's always some avenue in a chart where you can make money. So either the 3rd house, 5th house could be, you win the lottery and get money. So, because that's luck, that's speculation. And we're going to take a look at that, guys. So if we look at Dogecoin's 5th house of Capricorn here, and let me circle that. You see Venus there, which is good. Venus automatically is really good for wealth. It's the Karaka of wealth. So in the Vedic civilization, Venus we would associate with the goddess Lakshmi, who is the goddess of abundance and so forth. That's why Venus is the Karaka of luxury. So Venus tends to be the Karaka of luxurious wealth. Like people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. They bet you they have very strong Venus in their chart. So if we looked at the Venus is in the 5th house, also you want to take a look at something. Remember, the 5th house is a trine house. It's like a good luck house. Venus is the 9th lord. So it's the 9th lord in the 5th house. It also rules the 2nd house right here of Libra, okay? And then Moon rules the 11th house. So you see how all these money houses, 2nd house right here, 11th house right there, they're both connected to the 5th house. And that's the type of yoga you want to create money. So whenever you have a money planet connected to a either 5th house or 9th house, it's going to be fortune, good luck, and grace with money. It's going to be really good. And that's where I think Dogecoin has like amazing chart that kind of overrides. I think there's a lot of grace in that chart that overrides that Saturn being in the 2nd house. And let me clean up the chart again really quick, guys. And let me see if there was any slide that I didn't go over. Saturn in the 2nd house. We already went over that, guys. Venus, Moon, Jupiter in 10th house. Oh, yeah, that's another thing to look at if we go back to the chart right there. If we go back to the chart, we can see that, let me pull up the chart really here. You know, Jupiter in the 10th house. That's going to make you, a benefic in the 10th house is going to be very good for public visibility. So, hence why we see Dogecoin being so visible. Jupiter in the 10th makes it very visible. Now, K2 in the 8th house is going to be, you know, sometimes K2 is considered a malefic, you know, south node of the moon. It's considered malefic. Sometimes having a malefic planet in a malefic house can be actually good for something like Dogecoin. The only downside to having like K2 in the 8th house would be like K2 makes you, what's the word? It makes you have a sense of apathy, like you don't care about the house that it's in. So 8th house has to do with taxes. So, you know, you got to be careful if you have K2 in the 8th house that you don't get too lax about taxes, because taxes can seriously be a drain of your wealth in your chart. That's why 8th house is one of the Dashtana evil houses, just like the 6th house and the 12th house. It represents losses. And let's take another look at the presentation real quick, guys. We're going to go into, I was going to show you guys this thing too. Dogecoin, dashas, and transits. And that's the current price from today. I got that at Coinbase. It's like, what was that, 65 cents. Dogecoin entered Moon Mahadasha October 10th, 2014, and it's going to be there till October 10th, 2024. It's a 10-year period. So if you guys are new to Vedic astrology, one of the wonderful things about Vedic astrology is that we use something called Mahadashas and Bhuktis, which actually, you know, when you look at a chart, you can look at transits, but really the most important thing to look at in your individual chart or any chart is what kind of karma is ripening in your life right now. So we look at the Mahadashas. So we know what planets, what in your chart during any given time, there's always going to be planets that are highlighted. And note that karma is mostly what's ripening in your life at the moment. So if we go back to the Dogecoin dashas, this is what my software produces. This Vimshatari dasha layout here. And if you guys got a reading with me, you know, I'd give you a printout of this so you would know, you know, what kind of dasha you're in. So if we look at right now, we're going to see that Dogecoin is right here in Moon Mercury period. And then, you know, by January 2022, it's going to be entering that Moon K2 period, which I think, you know, we're going to see some problems with Dogecoin around that time. That's why I'm thinking that by the end of this year, if you don't really want to see losses to your Dogecoin, that you might want to like sell it and try to get whatever money you can for it if you don't have the stomach to watch, you know, to hold on to things. A lot of people don't, you know, they see any loss, they can't stomach it. And trust me, it's not like I would love right now seeing all that. I made like $100 just off of investing $100 in Ethereum, And it's like, yeah, I don't want to see that go away either. So let's take a look at what moon is. If we look at the chart, so moon is the 11th lord. Remember, it's one of those good planets. It's in the 5th house. Generally a good period for Dogecoin, and it is in the 5th house of fortune and luck. However, we haven't seen the big spike for Dogecoin until this last year. So let's take a look at moon period, guys, because really what we're going to look at is so the planet that's being focused on right now is the moon. So what is that going to be like in the chart? So again, if we look at the chart, right here, moon, it's in the 5th house and it owns the 11th house. So during this time, 11th house is good for money. It's earnings, it's gains, it's highest goals. Everybody has an 11th house. So right now it's in a very good Mahadasha to make money. The next thing we know, guys, is that, remember, it's in Mercury Bhukti. So that's the next thing we're going to look. If we go back here, guys, remember it's in Moon Mercury period all the way till the beginning of 2022. So we also got to look at Mercury because that's going to be the specific karma. One of the things you guys will learn about Vedic astrology as you study this is that it's almost like a clock system. You can always move the lagna. So even though you have your ascendant, in Dogecoin's case, it's Virgo ascendant, what we can do is, if we're looking specifically at your Mahadasha and how a Bhukti is going to affect you, we actually make the Mahadasha Lord the lagna, and we can count how many houses from the lagna to the Bhukti Lord to see what kind of effects we'll have during your Mahadasha and Bhukti. And I'll show you guys that real quick. So Dogecoin's in Mercury Mahadasha, Moon Mahadasha, Mercury Bhukti. So what you do, guys, is we make this like the first house. That's the first house, and we count 11 house, or we count how many houses we get to Mercury. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if we wanted to use moon as lagna, 11 houses from moon is going to be some of the effect of what Mercury is going to give. And big surprise, so Dogecoin enters Mercury period in 2020, and it's still been there all the way until now. And we've seen this stratospheric rise of Dogecoin. It's because of Mercury. It's because Mercury's 11 houses from moon. And then we'll also look at why Mercury is so good for Dogecoin. So I do think it's going to be great, like even if you're buying it now, I think it's still going to keep going up. I think it's going to still keep going, guys. And then, of course, if we look at Mercury, 3rd house, self-earned wealth, and then it owns the 10th house, and it owns the 1st house. 1st house and 10th house, they're both very good houses. So I made the joke in my presentation. I forget. I put a joke in my presentation of, maybe Dogecoin could run for president because the 1st Lord and the 10th Lord are being activated. Remember when we looked at Caitlyn Jenner's chart yesterday, and you guys can check that video out too. Caitlyn Jenner wasn't in a period of the 1st or 10th Lord, and that's why I predict that Caitlyn Jenner won't make it to governor of California. But, Dogecoin's in this area, this dasha of 1st Lord, 10th Lord. It's 11 houses from the moon. So it's just money, money, money. So I think it's going to keep going up. I even think the fact that that Elon Musk is on Saturday Night Live, that can affect the stock price of Dogecoin and keep it going higher and higher. So let's take a look, guys. Also, we're going to take a look at the transits. Let's see. Ooh, I'm already 25 minutes in. Time flies when you're having fun, right? So we're going to look at some of the transits really quick, guys. I'm going to look at the Rahu transit, which is really good for Dogecoin right now. And then we're going to take a look at the Saturn transit. Also, there's a special transit that I just found out about recently that you guys can even check in your own charts. And we'll talk about that in just a slide or two. So you guys, there's a special point of manifestation happening right now in everybody's horoscope. You need to look at what house is the sign of Libra in your chart. And right now there's a special period, especially if that's a money house, that's being activated in your chart. So let's go back to the presentation real quick. You guys remember transiting Rahu has been transiting Taurus since September 22nd all the way to April 12th. And so it's transiting the 9th house in Dogecoin's chart. I see this as positive period until April 2022 when Rahu enters the 8th house of Aries. Onset of Ketu Bhukti and Rahu entering 8th house a few months later shows many signs to a deflation of Dogecoin value. Now, May 8th, 2021, great period. Be ready by the end of the year that Dogecoin will have a drop, okay? And right now, I was going to show you guys this in the chart what it looks like. So we have, this is the chart, but then we also have planet. This is just the placement of when Dogecoin was born. So right now, we got natal Rahu transiting the 9th house. And natal Rahu, transiting Rahu goes backwards when it's transiting. So the next house it's going to end up in is going to be the 8th house here, which is not good. But it's not going to be there till April of 2022, guys. Also, the next thing we got to look at, next thing we're going to look at is the Saturn transit. And you guys have been aware that the Saturn transit, it started in January of 2020. And of course, what happened a couple months after Saturn entered Capricorn? Well, we had the pandemic happen. And that's kind of been the theme. A lot of times when the Saturn enters a sign, there's a theme that kind of starts and takes over as 2.5 years that it takes Saturn to transit a sign. So let's go on to the next slide, guys. So right now, though, Dogecoin's doing awesome. Saturn transit, January 23rd, 2020, April 28th, 2022. Saturn's transit through 5th house doesn't appear to be causing too many problems for Dogecoin at the moment. Possible volatility. Oh, can you guys hear me? Hopefully you can hear me a little better. I think my shirt got in the way. So anyways, possible volatility for Saturn goes retrograde for the next 5 months. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys about the special aspect that's going on right now. So in the chart, Saturn is, for Dogecoin, it's been, oops, I clicked the wrong thing, guys. Saturn's been transiting the 5th house of Capricorn, which I would not normally think of as very, very good for Dogecoin. But, it hasn't really been taking down the price. That's why I don't suspect it's very bad. So, guys, I want to show you guys a special aspect that's happening because Jupiter is in the 6th house of Aquarius right now. And then we got Saturn, transiting Saturn is in Capricorn. Well, Jupiter is aspecting the sign of Libra, transiting, and Saturn is also transiting aspecting the sign of Libra. And so when Saturn and Jupiter both aspect a house like that, it's a point of manifestation. So this is why it's so important for you guys to check out in your own charts what Saturn and Jupiter, what house it's aspecting. It's going to be the sign of Libra for whatever ascendant you are. So look at where Libra is, and that's a special point of manifestation. So if you look in Dogecoin's chart, the special point of manifestation is the 2nd house. So 2nd house means there's going to be an expansion and manifestation of Dogecoin's value. So there's all these good omens happening for Dogecoin right now. So as this is just the 2021 predictions for Dogecoin, guys, Dogecoin's going to do really good, I believe, for the rest of the year. If you're going to play cautious with Dogecoin, you could maybe, get out a few months before, because I do see Dogecoin losing its value in beginning of 2022. And we'll go back to my analysis, and I'll show you guys. Right here, Dogecoin to the moon at the moment, and I believe it's still going to be going to the moon. Be careful by end of year. There could be some wild swings in 2022. Overall, good for 2021. Very inexpensive price. Lots of money can be made. Timing will be key during this time. Book the overlap couple months before 2022 to be safe, in my opinion, if you want to, get rid of your Dogecoin. And since, this prediction, we're just looking at 2021, and I want to have ability to make more videos for you guys. I don't want to do like the whole life of Dogecoin. So I'll make another video for 2022. But but 2021 overall, it's going to be good. So don't get mad if a few months from now, it drops a lot. Overall, if we do an average for 2021, you could make money on Dogecoin. You just have to have your timing right. So I do believe, that last quarter of 2021, I've been telling you guys with everything going on that I think it's going to be a volatile time for most cryptocurrencies the last quarter of 2021. So, I think that Dogecoin is going to continue going up, especially look at these next few months, especially tonight. I mean, Elon Musk keeps on propping up the value, and he's the one that's really pushing Dogecoin at this point. That's it, guys. That's my analysis. Dogecoin's doing awesome. It's going to continue to do awesome for the rest of this year. But end of the year might be a little dicey. End of the year. So that's my prediction. Do we have any comments in the chat to look at? Your audio, I hope my audio sounds a little better. The Dogecoin shibes for various charity and donations and other altruistic. What is that? The Dogecoin shibes for various charity and donation and other altruistic causes? Are there people using it for charity or something? Dogecoin dog looks like my neighbor's dog. Never shuts up. Okay. Okay, so there is a point, and I see what people have. People are kind of wondering. This was a good comment by 567890, where you said, is Elon Musk the Pied Piper for Bitcoin and Dogecoin? That's the one thing, because I always kind of don't trust the establishment. And even though Elon Musk he poses like he's this really up and coming guy, he's different from the establishment and everything. It kind of is you still kind of feel like, well, he's still part of that establishment. Could these guys be tricking me, because they're going to do some pump and dump scheme? That's a valid concern. And, a lot of people have that concern about cryptos in general. There's just a distrust that that we could be being deceived in some way. And, it's always possible. And of course, it's like what everyone would say, you got to diversify. Never put all your money just in Dogecoin. Or, I think there are going to be cryptocurrencies that they do withstand the test of time, because, the thing, a lot of people think if we have a currency reboot, they thinking we should have gold be the backing for a new currency. In a lot of ways, the backing for, gold is, it was great for back in the, long time ago. Gold was great as a unit of currency, but nowadays, we have a planet of 7.5 billion people, and with the speed of transactions, that's why I think that the cryptocurrencies are going to be so great for the future, because you can also create scarcity with cryptocurrencies. So I forget with Bitcoin, you have a limited amount of Bitcoins that can be mined. And I'm not sure about Dogecoin. I didn't research that. But a lot of Litecoin, there's a limit on how many you can mine. And so that scarcity is really what gives it value. It's, more value than I would say fiat currency, because fiat currency, really, there's no limit to the amount of fiat currency you can print. Now, I do think one of the issues, and I'm still trying to resolve this in my head, guys, is I do believe there is going to be a central bank digital currency. And so I don't know how that is going to interplay with all of the cryptos. I don't know how that's all going to play out. and maybe the central bank digital currency, maybe they can print that to, or not even print it, right? They can create it in infinite. We don't know, but it does look like from all the research I've been doing that they're going to try to create some sort of central bank digital currency. Like, I don't think we're going to be like cryptos are going to take over as private enterprises. Like, I don't think the powers that be, the government and stuff, is going to allow that. Maybe some of you guys are more educated than I am in that way. Anyways, did you guys have any questions about Dogecoin or FedCoin? Yeah. So I don't know how FedCoin, or the central bank digital currency, is going to affect the cryptocurrencies. And the only way I could think is that cryptocurrencies are a digital asset. They're scarce in value, and especially things like Ethereum, where you have that the NFTs, and you have that you can tokenize things. That's where I think that's where you're going to be able to specialize with a lot of things. Anyways, what are you guys thought? What are your thoughts, guys? Yeah. So, what do you think? 567-890. Do you think that the digital currencies are going to affect cryptocurrencies in some sort of way, or do you think they're just going to be two separate? One's just an asset and one's just the currency. I guess right now cryptocurrencies are just treated as an asset. We still buy cryptocurrency we still buy crypto asset with our currency. So I mean, I guess maybe it's going to be just that you turn your digital currency into cryptocurrency. So I think that's it, guys. I think that's my presentation for today, unless there's any questions in the chat. You guys are awesome. I love that you guys are here. Dogecoin's going to be doing good. I think you can still make some money on Dogecoin. I mean, don't trust Elon too much. And I'm sure that he's looking out for number one more than us, I'm pretty sure. Is there anything more? We'll see. Well, guys, I think that we're gonna end the video today. Thank you guys for coming. Tomorrow I am going to take the day off because of Mother's Day, and then on Monday I'll take a look at if I can make sure as long as I can get the birth time, I'll do Voyager cryptocurrency. So namaste, everybody. I'll see you guys on Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Many blessings to you all, guys.